Gloria does the nutrition toolbox education portion. Please come in. Please come in. Thank you.
Excuse me. Sorry.
And it will be right over there just to make sure anybody that needs the restroom, feel free to.
All right, and like I was saying, so we have a few different programs with the Network for Healthy California. And today we're going to give a presentation called Eating Right When Money's Tight. And this is our food security portion of our organization that we try to educate the community with. So, okay. So many of you probably have your own strategies of how to save money when you go to the grocery store. Very first point that we want to mention is make a plan. You know, when you go shopping for your food, you know, you want to be able to stretch that food dollar that you have by checking, you know, what it is that you need at home, and make a list, you know, of what it is that you need. Not, you know, just buy anything that you see at the store. You know, follow a list that you have already made. That's why we give you some of those lists there, so you can check off, you know, the things that you actually do need at home. And also a good thing is to keep, you know, within budget, is make a plan of the type of food that you want to eat during the week. You know, what kind of meals you want to plan. So you have a good idea of what food items you need to make those recipes. Okay? And try to cook often at home, because that also saves money, because when you go out to eat every day, it adds up. I don't know if some of you have tried it, but it's pretty hard to stay under $10 a day if you're you know, eating out every day. So it's a very good point is to try to make your meals at home, and you save more money. Okay. Another, you know, aspect of making a plan is try to go only once to the supermarket. So when you have your list, you know, you can get everything you need. So you can only go once a week, and you have everything you need. So this way you stay within budget, and you don't go over it, and this way you have plenty of food that you need and money left over for other things. Okay. A good way to strategize on how to buy, you know, food that you need is look through your newspaper, or even online. There's a lot of coupons for healthy food that you can, you know, for your favorite supermarkets, or either whether it be a chain or mom and pop's supermarket that you like to go to. You can use these coupons to save, you know, from 25 cents to up to $1, $1.50 on an item that you like. So another very good strategic point is when you go shopping, try to eat before you go, because when you're hungry at the supermarket, everything looks good, right? We want to grab everything in sight and take it home. But when you have already eaten, you're not as inclined to buy, you know, food, the very first thing that comes in, you know, in sight. So once again, you know, try to have that out of your mind, right? And try to, like I said, cook at home and save some extra money. All right. Another very good point to add on to that is a lot of us who like to eat fruits and vegetables, I don't know anybody who does not like to eat fruits and vegetables, or one or the other, is try to buy fruits and vegetables that are within season. They tend to be the ones that are either on sale or more affordable than the fruits and vegetables that are not in season, right? So we can look at, let's see, right now we're coming into spring, and we have mangoes, strawberries, some of the best fruits and vegetables that we have out there right now in season. So try to buy within season, you save yourself a lot more money. Okay? Another very good strategic point is to compare your costs. A lot of times people say, well, you know, I guess it doesn't really matter what brand, I'll just buy the name brand, because I'll say, you know, it's just as good. But, you know, a lot of times when you buy like store brand, or a brand that's not as popular, you end up saving a lot more money for the same item, for the same quality of item. And so keep in mind that you don't always have to buy name brands, because they tend to be way more expensive than store brands or not so popular brands. Okay, another very good point is to look at the unit price of the item that you're buying, because sometimes a package could be bigger and it seems more expensive, but if you look at the unit price, where Gloria is pointing out, depending on the ounce, how many cents per ounce it costs. So say you buy a bag that's, you know, $4 and a little bag is $2, but there's only a couple ounces in the small one, and there's like, you know, 6 ounces in the big one. You probably end up saving more money by buying the bigger item, because the unit price is a lot less. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. Another very good point is what I was mentioning to you earlier is cooking at home saves a lot of money. Here's a food comparison between a chicken salad that you can make at home, you know, with using our healthy cookbooks that we have. You can make up your own healthy salad version as well, comparing it to a salad that you could buy at a fast food restaurant or a regular restaurant, right? And the cost comparison there is that at home you can feed a family of 4 for $6.48, as opposed to when you go shopping, you know, at a fast food restaurant or just a regular restaurant, it costs you, you know, almost 4 times as much, right? So you can really compare and see the savings there. You know, almost $20 to feed your family as opposed to, you know, under $7. Okay. Another thing is, I was mentioning to you before, is buying in season. Try to buy food products that you know, that are whole already, that they're not highly processed, because the highly processed foods like we're seeing here, you know, potatoes, potato chips, they're a lot more expensive for a lot less food, right? As compared to when you buy a sack of potatoes, it's close to the same price, but you get a lot more bang for your buck, like they say. All right. Another thing that people don't often realize is that there are foods that you can substitute where you can save a lot of money. For instance, our protein. A lot of people tend to get their proteins from meats that they eat, but people don't realize that there are other sources of protein out there as well, such as eggs, and beans. They have a high concentration of protein, just as much as meat does. So, you know, keep in mind that you don't always have to have meat in every meal. So some people believe that, you know, that you have to have meat in every meal, but you really don't have to, because you can substitute other food items to get your protein as well. And as you know, meat is very expensive. I don't know if you all seen that at the store, but you know, it's not cheap to eat meat every day. So, you know, try to find some healthy substitutions. And the best thing about that too is that when you buy like beans and eggs, other things, they're a lot more, they don't have as high concentration of fat and carbohydrates as meat does, because it's an animal product. Okay. All right. So when you're walking through the store and you're looking around and you're thinking, what should I buy? You know, what's the best thing to buy for myself? Sometimes stores tend to put things that you don't really need right in front of you, you know, right at eye level. So keep in mind when you're at the supermarket, and especially for the little ones, the things that they want you to buy that are high sugary or high fat, or they're just way more expensive, they're right at eye level and easy access. But the things that you need, the healthy items in the store, are not as easy to reach. So try to look at the very top and very bottom of the shelves, because that's where you're going to find those more affordable, healthy items. And try to avoid the end caps of the store. Like when you turn the corner there, you see an end cap and you see donuts and things that are extras, right, that we don't really need. And you know, they're easy access at the store, but we really should avoid them because they are expensive and they're not as healthy for us. Okay. So another, yes?
Can I make a suggestion? I see a lot of dry cereal there. That's really expensive.
Cereal, cereal can be expensive, that's right.
I found that taking whole grains like cracked wheat or quinoa or rice or cracked wheat or steel cut oats, and cooking it like you cook rice, that makes a great cereal in the morning.
That's
hot cereal.
There's definitely various ways that you can get your cereals in your diet. It doesn't always have to be in a box like we see here. This is just like the very mainstream idea of how to put you know, the fiber and all that you need. But there, like the gentleman said, there's other ways, you know, quinoa, rice, and other whole grain items that you can cook and eat as well. Okay, thank you for that suggestion. All right. So another item here that we have in comparison is when you eat regular oatmeal or rice that you make at home, right, that doesn't have all the additive sugar, all the salt that they add in a prepackaged item, such as we see here. This is a name brand that you see at the store. And it's going to cost you, you know, close to $2 to get for a little one-serving item, when you can actually buy almost for the same price a whole canister of oatmeal oats that you can cook at home and feed your whole family, not just one person. Okay, so that's a big difference there. All right, so once again, what to look for? Okay, what other things can you do? Like the gentleman was saying, you can find a farmer's market, such as we have here in City Heights, to buy the, you know, fresh fruits and vegetables that you need and other items that are healthy for your family. Okay, check, and then when you go to the store, when you do go to the store, check the sell by or use by dates on the. Sometimes stores sell things and they're not, they're not within sellable, purchase time, so be careful of those things. Read the nutritional label on the items, which is very important because sometimes, when we're looking at an item, we think, oh, well, it says whole grain, it says healthy, it has the flashing lights, right? This is good for you. But when you turn it around and look at the food label, what do we see? Too many of these already, processed foods, there's a lot of sugar, a lot of high fructose corn syrup that we often see in almost every item at the store, and salt and other preservatives that are not healthy for us, that really do put us at risk for diseases that we don't, want to get. So keep an eye out for those things. And like I was mentioned to you before, check the unit prices, because not always is the item, a good deal, because you're probably paying more for a unit price than you realize. And the store has to mark that on their price label. So make sure that you check on that, so you get more bang for your buck. All right. Make the most out of your money, right? So a lot of us have a fixed income. How many of you have like a fixed income every month? I know I do. So we got to make the most of what we have there, and we allot a certain amount of money for that, for those costs that we need for food. So once again, make a shopping plan. Compare those costs at the store or anywhere you like to go. Sometimes some people like to compare between stores. Like you can go to one store and buy your produce, and go to another store and buy, your whole grains or your your liquids, your milk and different items that you like. So do that. Do a lot of comparing. And again, all those tips that I mentioned to shop smart, and then you end up eating smarter because of the, watching the food labels and the high calories. And another option that we have to think about is some of us, because of our fixed income, we, especially here in San Diego, we, being that it's a very expensive city to live in, we often, don't always have enough, for our costs, our necessities for food. So we have to think, okay, what other options do I have so that I can supplement, for my family or for myself, right? So we have this program called CalFresh, and this program is a socioeconomic program that's here to help low-income individuals and families supplement their income for food. So in other words, you get more money for healthy food, right? Okay, so this is something that I'll get back to in a moment and explain a little further. What I wanted to mention at this point is the Farmers Market Fresh Fund. How many of you have heard about that yet? Okay, great. And just to give you an overview about it, it creates healthy food options for the underserved families in San Diego. Okay, so it also promotes the purchase of fresh fruits and local produce for farmers markets, and supports local farmers, and helps us to, strives to keep the social and economic justice practices up. And the way this is done is that the Fresh Fund accepts both CalFresh, WIC, and SSI disability participants, and kind of matching their dollars. For instance, let's say you spend $20 at the farmer's market, the Fresh Fund matches your $20, so in the end you can use $40 at the farmer's market. So it's a very useful program, the Fresh Fund, that helps individuals who are qualified for the Fresh Fund get more money to buy those healthy food items that they need. Okay, all right. So as I was mentioning earlier, there's also, in order for you to participate in the Fresh Fund, you should also try to first qualify for the CalFresh program, which is the very first step. So you, as some of you have in front of you, there's a table there, and you can check to see if you're within those income brackets that they set, the new income brackets that the CalFresh program has set out. And if you do qualify, the CalFresh program helps it will help your family buy healthier food for your family. And the way this is done is by obtaining an EBT card. And many of these cards are very popular. They're used at almost every supermarket, and even at participating farmers markets with the CalFresh program. With the Fresh Fund program. Okay, and yes. Not every farmer's market. Every farmer's market that is participant in the Fresh Fund, and I believe it's the City Heights Farmers Market, the Euclid Farmers Market.
The People's Products. Those are the only ones that I'm aware. Not all the farmers markets. I think there are three, but I can't remember the third one. But I think it's a tendency right now to include more farmers market. I don't know if I can do this. Include more farmers markets into this program.
Mm-hmm. So it's becoming a widespread trend amongst all farmers market because there really is a lot of individuals that would, once again, participate if they could in the Fresh Fund. So once again, so that's why we're promoting the CalFresh program so that people can, enroll in the CalFresh program and then they can also participate in the Fresh Fund. And hopefully it'll grow into other farmers markets.
And
so,
I think we are very lucky that we have one here just a block away.
Yeah, walking distance. Yeah, so we all welcome you to go and take part in that.
Also, if you have a farmer's market close to you that doesn't do it, if you just talk to the people that are running it and encourage them to do it, I think that they would probably listen to you.
That's
right.
a great way to improve
Yeah,
your
definitely
community.
the public influence has a lot to do with, where the Fresh Fund is going to be implemented. So please, advocate for that and, ask around like, the lady was saying here. So it would be good. It would be good for us to, spread that through the other farmers market. So we're looking at the table, and I think all of you have it in front of you of the most recent qualification criteria for income level for families. And it all depends on how many people are in your family. Okay, so you could look at that and see if you're within that bracket.
I have a question on that. Are you taking questions right now?
Sure,
You want me to
go
wait till
ahead.
the
Yeah,
end?
it's okay.
Or I was just wondering on the net income, is that just after taxes or is that after expenses like rent?
Yes, I believe that's after, after they take in the
It's
taxes,
before taxes.
the last one.
The
Oh, okay.
gross.
Uh-huh.
Gross is before.
Gross is before taxes, net is after taxes.
Just taxes, not after rent.
Yes, and it's done by case basis. I know that when you call the number at the bottom of that little brochure, you can make an appointment with a representative, and then they can go over with you, what the qualification criteria and what you will need to bring on the day of your appointment, as well as, when you fill out the application, they can help you with that and hopefully get you qualified for the CalFresh program. Okay, and so also what I wanted to mention is some other great facts about the CalFresh program is that when families are already enrolled in the CalFresh program, children get free lunch at school as well. They get free meals because it's also part of that initiative. And you don't have to necessarily have children to qualify for this program, but you can apply for yourself and your children if you do have children. But if you're a single person, you can also qualify depending on your income level. And also, using a CalFresh funds means you can use, the rest, any extra cash that you have left over for your other expenses or things that you need. So that's a great perk about that. Okay. And so did you know that every $5 of the CalFresh funds that are spent in your community, it's as if you were spending $9.20. So this program helps the San Diego community grow as well economically. So it's very important that people who do qualify for this program enroll and begin to use those funds in the community because it helps us grow, it helps business, and boost the economy as well. And, become an active participant in that. So, all right, so one thing I want to start with now is mentioning a few myths and how, we really want to make clear that these myths are not true. CalFresh is not a welfare program. Like I mentioned to you before, it's a socioeconomic program to help, people who qualify and, who need it. And also, you don't have to pay these funds back to anyone, not the government or anybody. It's a program. If you qualify, it's, easy access. Your children will now be drafted into the military, or they won't have to pay any bills. And these myths are out there, believe it or not, but we want to make it clear that these things are not true, okay? And also, you can own a home and have a car and still participate in the CalFresh program because those two things are exempt, okay? Any questions about that? Okay, all right, great. Another thing about the myths, the breaking the myths, is that that it's confidential information when you apply to this program. This information is not going to be shared with anyone, not even the immigration office, and it doesn't affect immigration status of anyone who applies for this program. The CalFresh program is not allowed to share information with immigration, so just keep that in mind if you're worried about that, or someone who maybe their status right now is pending. they should know that it's not going to affect them if they apply. It'll just benefit them. And if you have any questions about that, or someone you know has a question about, the situation and applying for this program, you can always call Legal Aid and they can give you, some more information about that. Okay? Yes. Actually, let me clarify that a little bit. If you are undocumented, you actually have to be a resident of the county of San Diego or of California. But if you have children who are residents or citizens, you could apply for your children. But unfortunately, you have to be documented to qualify.
And the other thing, when it says it won't affect your legal status, because you could be a resident, but after you start your legal resident, you have to wait 5 years to apply for citizenship. So those 5 years, you qualify for CalFresh, but there's many people who is afraid, okay, if I qualify for CalFresh now that I'm legal in the United States, but I don't have a citizenship, and I want to apply for the citizenship. So that's what she was talking about.
And just as Gloria was saying, it's very important for that to be clear, and that individuals, again, that are within that range of they're still trying to work on their case, it's not going to affect them, it's not going to impact them negatively in any way. One thing I wanted to mention to you also is that the CalFresh program is not a new program. The name is just new. It used to be known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, but now it's called CalFresh, and it's because we really want to promote that people use those funds to buy healthy food. We really try to push that issue that people should take those funds that they're getting in order to buy those foods that they really need, and supplement their diet with healthier food. And if there are any questions, there's these phone numbers here too that are on your brochures that you can call to ask for more specific question, and set up an appointment with the CalFresh representative as well. Okay. All right. And we also, part of the network, we have a website that you can go on to learn more about the programs that we have and access some of our resources online. And you can go to www.cachampionsforchange.net. And you can also go to the harvestofthemonth.com website, where you can see what fruits and vegetables are in season, so you can buy those at a cheaper price. Okay. Are there any other questions on what we covered today? And we have some great handouts, I think, that you've already kind of looked at, the psychology of the supermarket, some helpful tips to kind of help you guide you through the supermarket, so that you can keep an eye out for those strategies that markets try to use to kind of get you to buy, what they kind of coerce you to buying the things that they want you to buy instead of things that you really do need. So keep those things in mind. And I believe that's it, and I would like to thank you all for coming and participating in our workshop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now that